Did you know that with the right strategies in place, going out alone and approaching women solo can be just as fun, if not more so, than going out with your mates? Now, I know the idea of going out alone without your friends can be pretty scary for a lot of you watching. But today I'm going to show you how to have so much more fun and success doing it alone than you would with your friends. And with the added bonus that you're frequently going to experience women giving you the numbers of their friends to try to set you up with them as well. Over the past 12 years, I've done a hell of a lot of traveling. Some of that has been as a dating coach, traveling around the world, doing talks, running coaching events. Some of it has been alone just for fun, right? Just to see the world and get to know people. But the result has been that I've frequently found myself in foreign cities without any friends at all, sometimes for hundreds or thousands of kilometers. Now, when I first started trying to go out solo, the experience was probably much what you'd expect. You kind of go out, you feel a little bit awkward, you feel a little bit nervous, you're all alone, you don't know anyone, so if you get rejected, there's no one to kind of return to and commiserate with and keep you motivated, there's no one to laugh with. It's just you and the women out there, and hopefully you have some luck, because I found that going out alone, I'd wear out of energy really quickly because I couldn't keep myself amped up long enough to have a really good night out. So it was never really very much fun. Until one fateful plane trip between Brazil and New York, I was sitting there and I thought, you know what I'm going to do to kill the time? I'm going to strategize ways that I can make approaching women solo more fun and maybe even more successful than it ever has been in the past. And I came up with a bunch of strategies, and over the coming months, I tested them all out. And at the end of the day, I arrived at this strategy, and it works so well, I'm doing the same thing 12, 13 years later without barely any changes whatsoever. So the first thing that I do, and by the way, this is a strategy you should probably use whether you're going out solo or with friends, is I try to make sure that I'm well socialized before I go to a bar or club. Because a big mistake a lot of guys make is they're super unsocial that day. They haven't really talked to many people. They haven't interacted with many people, maybe brief conversations at work. And then they suddenly plonk themselves in a hyper-social environment like a bar or club. And they wonder why they're struggling to get into the groove. They're struggling to get in the mood. And oftentimes guys rely on alcohol to get there. And that's not the best strategy. So what I do is the first thing, before I even go out, I try to talk on the phone with someone. So I'll call friends who I need to catch up with, who I haven't talked to in a while. I'll check in with family members. I'll do something just to be talking on the phone. And then say on the taxi trip in, I might start a conversation with the taxi driver or the Uber driver, depending on what city I'm in. And then when I'm at the traffic lights waiting to cross to get to the bar or club, I might turn to the group of girls next to me and ask them if they know of any good bars in the area that are worth checking out. And then when I get to the bar or club, I'll talk to the bouncer and ask him what time the place really starts to kick off. So by the time I'm in the club, I've had a bunch of conversations, just small talk, simple conversations with people. And it really helps me get into this social vibe. And that's super critical, of course, when you're alone, because you don't have mates to do that with. Now, the next thing I do, and this is really the secret sauce, I don't know anyone else who does this, but God, does it work so well, is I need to eliminate the biggest problem that there is with going out alone, and that's being alone. You've got no one to return to, you've got no one to go back to, you feel like, like a Nigel with no friends. And so what I do is I find a group of women to be my wingmen for the night. I find a group of women to be my social proof, my wingmen, and my dating coaches for the night. How do I do it? Well, as soon as I walk into the bar or club, and by the way, you should always arrive before it gets busy. If you arrive at a place when it's already pumping, you'll generally struggle to get up to steam with the energy levels in the place. So get there a little bit early. So I usually get there and I'm looking around for a group of girls to go up and talk to. Now, I've found that for this strategy, you generally don't want to pick the hottest girls in the club. Like, don't pick the oh-so-sexy group of women. It's generally not going to work. The other thing, regardless of how old you are, don't go for a group of young girls. Like, don't go for a group of girls under 25. This tends not to work so well with them either. What you do is, ideally, look for a group of women who are pretty average looking, who are over 30. And I walk up to them and I'll basically say to them, hey guys, I'm brand new to the city. I don't know anyone here yet. Or if I'm in my home city, I'll say, hey guys, I wanted to head out tonight. I don't have any friends who want to go out tonight, but damn it, I was determined to go out alone. That's the first part. Just tell them what your situation is. And then I'll say, and I'd really like to meet some girls tonight, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to help me and give me some pointers. Now, what I've discovered is this tends to be catnip for women. Like, you have no idea how many women are champing at the bit to be able to give a young, impressionable man the right dating advice to talk to women in a bar or club. And what I find is that they really get behind this. Not every time, but let's say 4 out of 5 times that I do this, the first group I approach is super, super eager to get behind me, right? And they'll start giving me advice. They'll say, what types of girls do you like? They'll say, you know, what do you want? Are you trying to just pick up a girl to take home? Like, they'll ask you all these questions. And then what they'll do is they'll start pointing out girls that you should approach. And here's why that's useful. Okay, for someone like me with a ton of experience, it's a little less useful. But especially for guys who don't have as much experience, it's great because women are fantastic at knowing who's likely to be approachable and who isn't. So if you're not good at that, women tend to be great at it. They know who's likely to be friendly. So they're going to start scanning the environment, looking for women for you and pushing you in and motivating you to get in. Then when you approach, the women will be watching you because this is exciting for them. They're watching you become like their adopted friend, right? Their adopted brother that they're going to help to meet women. And so they're watching you and you come back and they're going to give you advice. They're going to say, hey, Damien, so I noticed you did this, you did that. What happened there? Now, be aware, of course, not all the advice is going to be ideal because, you know, women don't always give the best dating advice. Sometimes they do, but not all women do. So when you're listening to this advice, just absorb it, you know, take it in, be willing to reject some of it, be willing to accept some of it, because some of it's going to be crazy useful because they're giving you their honest observations as a group. So yeah, that's great. But then the other thing that'll happen is you'll be in talking to some women, and sometimes your adopted friend group, your wingwomen group, one of them is going to approach and join you. And then she'll start talking you up to the other girls. And what's more, you're going to be spending a whole night with a group of women. And so every woman, every single woman in that club is watching you. And she sees that you have a group of female friends. That is massive social proof for you, right? That means that you are pre-selected by women, that you can't be too creepy or too sleazy, right? Or too rude to women. And I've found that, again, this is less so for me as I've gotten better and more confident and more successful with women, but especially like clients of mine who have been less confident, women open up much more readily when they see you come from a group of women to approach them. Like way more. It is a lot easier to get women to give you the time of day. So if your opens are a bit weak, women will generally give you more of a chance to make a really good first impression when they see you come from a group of women. That's really powerful. Now, the other thing that I've noticed that seems to happen with this strategy, which is like this is full of added bonuses. I love doing this. It's so much fun. You'll find that if you make a good impression on the group, in other words, you know, it's important to be friendly and chatty and have fun with them. But if they like you as a person, they don't have to like you sexually. Just if your approach, your wingwoman group likes you as a person, you're suddenly going to find they're going to be trying to hook you up with their friends. So all of a sudden you'll get one of them going, hey, do you think my friend's cute? She's single. Or hey, do you think my friend is cute? She's single. And I've had it before. I approach a group of women, like 4 or 5 or 6 women in a group to be my wingwomen group. And I've had them try to match me up with 7 or 8 different friends, which is so brilliant because usually 1 or 2 of them are pretty damn cute and worth being hooked up with. So yeah, I've learned that I can do better alone than I can going out with friends. It just takes that little bit of oomph in the beginning to do that first approach and ask them if they'll be a wingwoman group, and like it goes gangbusters. As I said, I've been doing this for quite some time now, and wow, it's my favorite strategy. Now, one more thing I want to say is that have you ever thought about the role that your personality plays in your interactions with women? Because very often, different types of male personalities attract different types of women. And different types of personalities come with different strengths and weaknesses. If you're an introvert, if you're an extrovert, you have different strengths and weaknesses around women. And you should focus on approaching women in different styles to be the most attractive possible. After all, why would you want to approach in a way that isn't suited to your personality? I've developed a complex dating personality profile. And basically what it is, it's 100 questions you go through, and it's going to split your personality up into 16 factors. Then based on that, what it's going to do is going to tell you what are your strengths and weaknesses based on your personality profile with women, and what do you most likely need to work on to get the best results. Go ahead and check that out. Now, it's totally free. Click here in the link up in the corner. So yeah, as I said, let me know what you think about this. If you're going to put it into action, let me know. Have you put it into action? Let me know. Very keen to hear from you. For the rest, I hope you enjoyed this video. I highly recommend you go ahead and subscribe to my channel by clicking the link over here, as well as checking out some of my other videos that I highly recommend behind that link here and here. I'm Damien. Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. Take care.